Hello dear viewer, and welcome to this review of Tinyfolks on Steam, with me, Jalanon, and Lunar Nebula Gaming. So Tinyfolks is a game by Pierre van der Mason. It has a very positive rating. Just so you know, on the Google Android store, it's rated teen. I think that's pretty appropriate. It's not necessarily super graphic or anything. As you can tell, it's very pixelated artwork. You can take a look here. You have town building aspects like Darkest Dungeon, you have targeting and special abilities per character like Darkest Dungeon, and so on and so forth. It's pixel artwork, so it's not terribly graphic. However, there are vomiting hobos and zombies, so yeah, that's a little dark. The game is basically you are a ruler that has been booted from their kingdom by the Dock King, and it's up to you to train up a party of adventurers to get back your kingdom. And so you do. You basically upgrade your town to get more population over time. You can upgrade stuff with buildings. You can find items and things as you adventure, and so on and so forth. So as the tagline says, train your folks, defeat monsters, and upgrade your town. And that's kind of going back to the whole very short story, fun gameplay, right? So it focuses on that. Now, a couple nitpicks I have with the game is that it is turn-based, but it's not always obvious whose turn is next. In boss fights, thankfully, it's kind of obvious that the boss kind of always goes after one of your people goes. You can affect that with stuns and things. There are different difficulty modes. Normally, you have about 45 days to try to beat the game, and every time you go out and explore, that's basically a day. Once you're done exploring, you can of course decide to sleep and have everybody rest and recover if they've been injured. And of course, people can also die as you go adventuring. So it's not a super easy game. I think the easy mode isn't too terribly challenging, but it's still, you do need to think a little bit strategically, especially on some of those boss fights where they can almost one-shot your characters if you haven't prepared them right. So, other than that, once again, it's got very positive reviews. It's about $3.99 most of the time. It has gone on sale in the past. That's when I picked it up once upon a time. It has had some updates like the Circus update where you can get different classes of folks and things like that. Right now there's 20 different unique classes. You basically can multi-class and have people get more into that class or become a paladin instead of just a warrior, stuff like that. And of course they have the artifacts which you can equip people with and give them unique effects like better healing, just more armor and attack, things like that. And then of course there's the buildings, and you can have different difficulties which restrict buildings and builds that way, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's take a look at Tinyfolks. Hello dear viewer, and welcome to this Tinyfolks review yet again. We can load a new save file or do a new game. We have our list of achievements and things, so there's quite a few in this game. We can also take a look at what we've actually seen in the game. So this is your normal starting folk. You can of course upgrade to a rogue, priest, apprentice, warrior, ranger, and so on. The tank is later on. You can unlock different multi-classing abilities with the warriors. And you have this list of stuff, like you can do in a tutorial. We don't need a tutorial anymore. It's full screen at the moment. I do have screen shake on, you can turn that off. I like it on speed 2. There's no faster speed, which seems fine for the most part. So let's go in. Now we have the original Jalanon playthrough that I did not do. I did a Jalanaut. So one thing to note is once you do finish a run, it loads it and deletes it, and it's gone forever once you're finished. So I have this Lunar run, which was on a hard mode, and I think I've just got peasants for now, or folk. And so we'll load this one up to get kind of a more generic view of the game. As you can see, I've got some people. We've got a wounded person. I can go to my tavern. We can put our wounded person here to rest. Now, if I try to go to the town limit, that person doesn't show up in here. We've only got 2 people still available. And I could, just go out with those guys. I don't have any other extra items at the moment. But I could also choose, hey, if I have all the gold and supplies I need to train somebody, I could put them in here and try to multi-class them. And thankfully it shows you ahead of time what you get out of that. Now power in this case is more like mana, or the cost of using abilities. If an ability is white, that means it's free, but also it has no cost listed below it. This one has 30 power cost, this one has 80 power cost. So as you can see, you want to try to get upgrades that'll make this cheaper if you want to go for the Saint later. Though honestly, just the first level of Priest is pretty good. It's pretty good. It is probably the best starting class in my opinion, in terms of keeping everybody alive. But yeah, we've got our King and Mark our Priest, so let's just take these two out. You can double click in Steam's version. We can scooch them around. It doesn't necessarily tell you, how your enemies target things either. So that is something you may want to keep in mind. For now, we'll just do this. And then we have the different biomes that we can go explore. So right now, I probably want to do Fairy Forest or something easy rather than medium difficulty with some squishy boys. So we're not going to do the Oasis, we're not going to do Zootopia. We'll just go to the Goblin Valley. See how far we can get with our squishy people. So as you can see at the top of the screen, we have 3 dots. These are the battles we will be facing. We can see our current health of all of our characters here. I can also see up here, if I hover on the ogre, it's very weak to poison. We don't have a poisoner at the moment. The rat only has 5 health. So right now the priest can only really hit that rat with smite. Everything else is a heal basically on the priest, or a remove a debuff thing. So yeah, once again, we can see our targets here. I can't hit the rat with my staff because it's too far back. This ogre I can hit though. So I'm just gonna burn the ogre, I think. I don't need to give +1 attack to anybody. I could heal myself for 30 HP, for 10 power. I have 50 power right now. Don't need to at the moment. We're gonna save that so we get more value out of it. Rat is gone, but right now we're just gonna pray, because prayer is the way to do things in the beginning. So we're just gonna refresh this smite. We're gonna keep praying, and we're going to outlast this ogre. And since it keeps hitting everyone, that's actually better for us because we have an AoE heal that costs pretty much nothing. Wonderful. So we're gonna do this. My guy hits us both. I want to use smite, I think. Yeah. Because then I get another prayer off, and then as long as he doesn't do an AoE, we get through there. Okay, and then we get a string out of it. Cool. So another neat thing in this is it's kind of risk reward. You can flee before you're dead or after you defeated somebody and take all those resources you've gained without risking any further. We don't really need to worry about that at the moment. Pain has happened. I could do orders and stuff. We're just going to smack him, and then we're going to pray. Something you're going to hear a lot on this channel. Prayers. To be, good at the game, maybe. Maybe. So, we've got that. I am now going to do a heal. We're going to spend 10 power on that, and then he's not smitten anymore, so we're going to smite him. Okay, and then I could heal my priest, but I think we can get away with just another attack. I do have this 1 of 3 item slots filled with a potion at the moment, but I don't need it. So we're gonna do that. This burning Cyclops is going to get another burn. That's right, your hamster was actually a squirrel. Cyclops, that's my sick burn for you today. Okay, and then we've got 2 pieces of fabric now. It doesn't give us okay, this is our current bounty. This does not mean we just gained another string and 2 fabric off this. We just gained the fabric. The string was from earlier. So we could choose to go back to town, but we're going to do another battle. Now I beat the boss because normally every biome has a boss in its last little leg, right? But for now, I've defeated that boss, so it shouldn't show up again as far as I'm aware, at least on this level of difficulty. Haven't played on the super hard modes yet, but other things to note is that higher difficulty challenges, they'll have more pips, or more fights, basically, encounters, whatever you want to call them, and they will have better stats. So, difficulties lie ahead for you, if you so desire to have a difficult time, which is fair and fun. So, I think we're going to light everything on fire. Who has less health? You have less health? We'll do this. Okay, you roared, that's fine. We don't care about attack on our priest anyway. Because we're just gonna burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. And then we're going to do a little heal there. The priest can heal himself. And this is actually pretty good for us because we should be able to get minor injuries at the end of this. And with those minor injuries, only have like 1 day of rest before we can go exploring again. And with that day of rest, I think we can actually take the time to just level stuff up, like our armor and things like that. So that seemed fine. Seems fine. Goodbye, Gobbo. We're gonna pray some more. And then I'm gonna attack. There it is. So I am going to heal you right now, try to get you as close to full as we can before this ends. There we go. So now we got a string, 2 fabrics, and a weird shroom. So now we can also see a summary of everything that happened. So Cody's healthy. I upgraded a barracks apparently. Bobby upgraded their dagger weapon to a sword. The slums have upgraded. That's where we can get our rogue. And the shop is at the town limit. So that is randomized. But if you, spoiler alert, if you keep building up this area, you can get a black market with this last upgrade. And that is basically a shop all the time. But this is the traveling shop. It'll always have 3 items. Oh, and apparently an artifact you can't usually get till later. The Ring of Power, of which I am 1,422 gold short. So that's fine. Bandages is great though. Oh, do I dare? This is a question. Okay, to get theology upgrades, I need to do that. I think, yeah, this is where I can get the staff forge. This is how you upgrade the cost efficiency of casters. So we can decrease their power requirements. We can't afford it yet. So you know what? I might get that bandage if I don't have one already. I do not. I only have good shoes. But you know what? They are good shoes. I'll give them that. I'll give you the good shoes. Okay, you got more max HP. You have plus defense. Yeah, I am actually going to get that shop bandage because I think that's such a good item early game. And then we can go to our folks. We can look at Mock. You have no weapon, Mock. How dare you? So we are then going to go to our artifacts. We'll find Mark again, give him the bandages. As I said before, yeah, wounded 1 day instead of like 4 days. As we saw earlier, somebody else was wounded far worse. Like Bobby still has a day, even after resting a calm night here. And that is basically, you know, it's just more efficient in terms of injury recovery to use a calm night here. But we should be able, yeah, we can still put Bobby in there, even though Bobby is currently wounded. So yeah, we could put Cody, and our king actually did reach max health, so he doesn't even need time to rest. He's ready to go. So yeah, and as you can see, we will basically get more of these other items for upgrades in the town as we adventure and defeat bosses. Bosses are generally the best way to get these drops. So yes. And as you saw before, we also collected those components. We can sell those. We can save them and use them in potions and things later on, unless of course you chose to do a harder challenge where you may or may not have those buildings available. So this is another aspect of the game that you could try to min-max a little bit. If you're playing at the lowest difficulty, you probably don't even need to. But yeah, that is basically Tinyfolks in a nutshell, dear viewer. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I personally did enjoy my time with Tinyfolks. I would be open to doing like another challenge with it, or doing that peasant run, seeing if we can beat the game with just a bunch of angry peasants. But yes, let me know in the comments below if you enjoy that. If not, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I hope you, dear viewer, have a great day.